Hi guys, this is Arun and Swapnil, and today we are going to discuss why we have choose Ansible as the configuration management tool for our need. So the very first thing is it is open source and you can use it anytime, anywhere. Also it is agentless and there is no need to install agent on client machine if you are using Ansible. So this is what Ansible is not complex as compared to Chef and Puppet. Also it uses SSH and there is no special port, password or keys which are required for Ansible to operate. Being said that, Python is the backend of Ansible and you can use YAML, which is very easy language to express your task. Also Ansible is backed by a community which includes large number of people who are ready to develop the modules which are required as per the need. And if you think like something is missing in terms of module in Ansible, then you can go ahead and discuss it with the community out there and start writing the code for that module. And once it is completed and fully tested, you can go ahead and raise a PR. And once the PR is being validated by the community, then your module can be integrated with the upcoming version of the Ansible. And that way the people who are using Ansible will be able to use your module. So this is how a custom module can be built if it is needed. Also, like there are some tasks which required the editing of the configuration file, let's say apache.conf, and if you are editing that apache.conf and restarting the services, and if in some case restart doesn't work, so in that case you can roll back with the help of Ansible, because Ansible create a backup of config file, then it will start editing that particular file. So this way, if you have the backup of that file, you can easily roll back. So this is how Ansible is super cool for your need. And why we are using Ansible, these are the some important points which we wanted to discuss. Now let's go ahead and see how you can install Ansible. So Ansible needs to be installed on a single machine where you can operate Ansible. So there are some dependencies which needs to be in place for Ansible to work, and these are Python packages basically, which includes Python YAML, Python Jinja, Python Paramiko, Python Crypto, and Python Keysar. So this is all about the server machine, which we can say Ansible server. And also there are certain remote machines which you are going to manage from the Ansible server. So there is only one dependency which should be there on the remote machine for Ansible to manage all those remote node, and this is again Python, and to be precise Python Crypto and Python Keysar. And if you want to use Ansible in a Windows environment, the PowerShell should be higher or equal to 3.x. So this is the dependency if you are going to use Ansible in Windows environment. So now let's see how you can install Ansible on your machine. So we already have configured a virtual machine for Ansible. Let's see the host name. So as you can see, the host name is Ansible, which stands for Ansible server. And let's see which OS we are running here. So this is Ubuntu 14.04 Trusty. Now before going further, let's do apt-get update just to make sure we are in sync with the upstream repositories. Okay, so apt-get completes. Now we are good to go and install packages. So we already have a command here So these are the packages which are required to be installed on the server machine, and these are the same as you can see: Python YAML, Python Jinja, Python Paramiko and all. So let's go ahead and install it. Say yes and press enter, and it will try to communicate with the upstream repositories to fetch all these packages. As you can see, it is selecting each and every packages and it is unpacking. Okay, so we have Ansible with us. We install Ansible. Now let's see. Yeah, so Ansible is there, and you can see we have got Ansible, Ansible config, Ansible connection, Ansible console, and these packages as the dependency of Ansible binary. Now let's see which version we are using. So we are using Ansible 2.5.1, and this is the config file for our Ansible binary. So this way we have installed Ansible in our Ubuntu Trusty server, and now there are few dependencies which should be installed on the client machine. So this is our server machine, Ansible server, and now we are going to client machine. So here we have client machine. If I do host name, you can see Ansible C, which stands for Ansible client. And let's see which OS we are running here. So again we have Ubuntu 14.04 Trusty. So let's go ahead and do update. Yeah, created our caches, and it's time to install few dependencies, which are these. Let's install them. So we have client configured, and also we have server. Let's see the IP address. So the IP address of this client machine is 192.168.56.15, and we have a server with IP address 192.168.56.14. So when Ansible is going to communicate with this client, it requires you to specify password, and if you don't want to run it interactively, you can just use the public key mechanism, wherein you don't need to specify password every time whenever you are running Ansible. So let's discuss what's that public key mechanism is. So here we have, so we can generate our key pair with the help of ssh-keygen command, and once we have generated our key pairs on the server machine, we can just append our public key to the client machine, so that whenever host 1, which is server, is communicating with host 2, it can validate the connection with the help of that public key, and this way you don't need to specify password. So this is the public key mechanism method. Let's see. Now let's go ahead and see how you can create SSH keys and how you can append those keys to the client machine. So next slide will tell you about the SSH keys and method. So this way you can create SSH keys on your server machine, And once the keys are generated, you can just copy your public key of the server machine to client machine. So let's go to server and generate the key pairs. So this is our server Ansible S, and now we are going to create the key pairs ssh-keygen. So it seems we already have a key pair with us, but let's go ahead and create a new one. And we have created our key pair. And if you want to take a look at the key pairs, you can see that we have IDRSA, which is the private key, and we have IDRSA.pub, which is public key, and this key needs to be appended here in the client machine. So there is a method to copy this. What you can do is just you can just cat the content of this public key and append it manually, or there is also a command which will get it done on behalf of you. And this is the command ssh copy id, then the credentials of your client machine. So here we have the IP 15 192.168.56.15, where we want to append this public key from server. So what we will do is ssh copy id, then credentials of the client machine, which is and for the very first time it will ask you for the password. Yeah, so it's done. Now you can see, now try logging into the machine with this and check to make sure that only the keys you wanted were added. So we'll go here and we'll see etc, no, not in it, etc ssh and then authorized keys. So if I do authorized keys here, you can see this is the same key which is here. So by this command we have copied this key to the client machine under authorized keys. So the key should be here in this file, which is authorized keys, in order to have a passwordless SSH. So now let's try to do SSH to the machine, client machine, to see whether it is asking for password or not. Yeah, so as you can see, it didn't ask for password and it directly logs in. Why? Because it has validated the authentication with the help of this public key, which is already there in authorized keys of the client machine. And if I do here host name, you can see we are in Ansible client. Okay, that's cool. Now log out. Now we are in Ansible server. So we have implemented the way by which the Ansible binary from Ansible server is going to communicate to the client. So we have implemented, and in the next video we are going to show you how you can create inventory files and how you can execute Ansible ad hoc command and Ansible playbook. Thank you guys, that's all for this video. Bye.